Greetings everyone, this is Lodrik and this is a Game War Pacific Admins Edition. This is my match, play by email match against KilRoy. For him it's Allies and for me the Empire of Japan. Today we will check the 16th December 1941. This is still scenario 1 and 1 day turn setup. Last turn we saw the my carriers operating source of Java, sinking local mine sweeper, some small cargo ship. One successful operation of my navy bombers, source of Rangoon, damage or sinking some APs and light cargo, light cruisers. But no, and smaller land battles all over in China. But nothing really important, at least. Nothing stands out. Here's a Mark 10 American submarine, these short-range submarines. And my patrol boats are running between Takao, source of Taiwan, and Manila, where I normally run all my shippings between these two bases. I also have some patrol boats running up and down. Simply to detect enemy submarines and, like now, keep them busy. And this is now a bigger cargo ship, but my submarine failed. This here it's a between Sumatra and Java at Oosthaven there is normally a passage. No, many cargo ships will come here trying to escape. So I parked some submarines there, and it looks at least one of my submarines was able to hit this cargo ship. But no damage. Looks, this is very strange. That normally you would always have heavy damage on a cargo ship, but next cargo ship, also one torpedo hit, now with heavy damage. And here is the Pike. This is the American submarine I saw before, heavy damage, it's not able for maybe more to dive. And the small, no, this is not a small cargo ship, it's a cargo ship east of Hawaii, bringing stuff in or out. I guess it's bringing stuff into Hawaii, but now it's heavily damaged and maybe will sink with some vehicles on board, maybe base force. So next attack on this already damaged cargo ship, and now it's for sure dead. But this time the patrol ships are on guard and my submarine failed to attack the more important cargo ships. So some success for my submarines, but also again nothing really too important. But more ships are going down for the Allies so far. So my carrier is still finding some cargo ships running away. And a sweep over Singapore. So with enough preparation time, I bring in here some of my Japanese elite land-based fighter wing, and I was able to bring 40 out of 45 making the trip. And now we will see the first big battle over Singapore. And I simply try to lower the British Air Force presence here in the around Singapore to also to make sure that there is no airstrike coming out of Singapore with heavy escort. So KilRoy can maybe still use his bombers, but without escorts it's maybe much easier for me to defend them. And I am really a little passive. If there's enemy fighters, I normally try to avoid the battle because Japanese bombers are so sensitive and easy gets killed. So I want to make sure that the enemy fighter present is handled. And the Zeros are handling these buffaloes with success. I come always, or not always, but often from behind. And get one kill after the next. But keep in mind, I kill the airframe, but the pilots are all jumping out and most likely will still be in British air service in the future. And it's still possible for buffaloes to engage Zeros and also damage or even kill them. It is only the advantage of diving now I have, and of normally everything is in favor for the Japanese fighters here. Dive bonus, speed bonus, maneuver bonus, firepower, only armor and hit points are in favor for the buffaloes, but also I would expect that pilot skills are for the most Zero fighters are better. Not all are perfect, but many of them are veterans and have 70 air skill and experience. Still diving, still coming from behind. But not always a kill. So, damaged buffalo returned to base, and in 3 days later he's back in the skies. I also don't really like to sweep with the air return. I For cap it's maybe okay to have a fatigue up to 20, but for a sweep I try to lower the fatigue less than 10 before I really make a sweep if I know the enemy have equally numbers or airframe equipment. Of course, maybe buffaloes are not equal enemy for a zero, maybe more with the Oscars, but uh, normally after I transfer airing, I give the pilot always 1 day at least rest to prepare for the next mission and not go out immediately. It is simply the Japanese, they don't have the numbers, so what you have is all uh, important asset and don't waste it. So I, I more or less invest more time, make sure that the odds are better or in favor for me, and then I try it. But it's not working always, especially with the Jochen game. Sometimes it was a completely disaster, and I'm also not so sure why. Is Here with KilRoy, it looks better so far, not always. KilRoy was also able to intercept some of my bombers and avoid my escorts, or simply my bombers don't have escorts, so this always can happen. So it's not possible to be perfect. And that would be boring. If some player is perfect and the other one is only average, then I think it's a one-sided game. And even if I win here now many times and it looks also easy, I must keep this up to the end of 42. If I cannot, and even if I can do this well up to end of 42, to get a 4-1 point advantage is really hard. Then you must conquer all of India or something like this and be there very successful in China. So this is a long way I have to walk. And this is only the first or now maybe the second week of the war. Now there's no dive bonus more, and now it's more more a dogfight. The advantage of early dive attack is over, and you can see this now. It is still maybe in favor for me. I still can come from behind and can create here some kills, but it is hard work. Long time no kill more. But at the beginning of the battle we saw that there are up to 69 buffaloes ready for cap duty, and I have only 40 zeros, so no, this is still a number advantages for the buffaloes. So maybe my zeros will get tired at the end. But it is not really the... I really don't start any bombardment on Singapore before I am not sure that the cap presence is less than 10 fighters or something like this. So I will not start bombard Singapore in the next coming days. I will maybe sweep every second day Singapore and wait that my recon airplane tell me, okay, there's not more much left, and then I will be able to attack with my navy bombers more freely. Now I have always a problem, I cannot really let my navy bombers run on max range because there's always Singapore, and I cannot give them the order fly wherever you want but avoid Singapore. The game don't allow this. So now the buffalo was behind my zero, so it is always possible. If there's a good pilot, a good British pilot can even do something with a buffalo. And not every Japanese pilot is perfect. And if the Japanese pilot is very tired, then all the skills are also, not more really working so well one-sided. Good, at the end I can break the cap of Singapore sweeping, kill maybe up to 16 buffaloes or more, we will see at the end of the turn. Sweeping Balikpapan, and here I find a lot of fighters. So I was thinking, where is all this American P-40s escaping from the Philippines, and they are here in Balikpapan. Good. So it looks like today is a big fighter war. First over Singapore, now over Balikpapan. My zero is coming in killing. It's an early stage of the air war. Many fighters, but with diving, outmaneuver, or maybe outclass. And if there's simply not more many fighter presence left, then I have less to worry for my carriers. Keep maybe some of my zeros for cap, and yeah. And there are also some Dutch buffaloes here. So we saw early on just now the British buffaloes, and these are now the Dutch buffaloes. Dutch buffaloes again with no, I think only with light machine guns, not heavy machine guns, and without armor protection. But faster and better maneuverability. And again, P-40s are not really bad. If you have a good pilot, and the zero don't have the dive bonus 1-to-1, then the P40 can do something. And the P40 here really only need to damage my zero, not even need a kill. Once my zero is damaged, I must still fly back to my carrier, and my carrier is in here this position. So, and so far I understand it, every hex there's a check if a damaged airplane will crash. So more distance, more likely to crash. So I had here, I think, at least 3 zeros returning with fire or damage back to my carrier. Maybe these are 3 ops losses later. If I only lose the airframe, I would still say that is fine. I only worried about normally my pilots and nothing else. Airframes I can produce over time, but here is at least 1 killed airframe for me, with very likely lost pilot. And there's a second. So, like I said, P40s are not bad if they fight on on low altitude and without dive bonus. With a half decent pilot. And the P40 is diving now on my zeros. So uh, 3 zeros lost, plus 3 damage. At the end, I don't know if this attack was really a victory for me. But even if I'm losing pilots, I mean, at the end, this is a war, and all pilots, soldiers, airplanes, everything must at the end die, or there's a possibility to lose them, and sometimes you have to lose some equipment to achieve some goal. So to only hold all back and play it always safe will not win the war. That is also true. So, and if I have here now 3 pilots lost and 5 or 6 airframes, then this is a tactical defeat. But so far, if I can at the same side or at the same moment lower the American, Dutch, British Air Force here in Borneo, this is a strategic victory maybe at the end. So officially I lost only 1-0, but we will see. And this is the second airing. I have not more much to do. maybe I can even the odds a little here and get 1 or 2 more kills without losses on my own side. Okay. 2 more kills, no own machine lost. Now airstrike on Clarkfield and only 1 P-35 left. And we send it back immediately to airfield. Clark airfield. Now I throw some bombs on it, but I cannot destroy the airplane on the ground. Yeah. And damage to the airbase. And this is maybe just this P-35 I damaged and sent back to the airbase, and now it's maybe gets destroyed. Then this threat is over. My 4 missing zeros won't have the tough fight, let's say this. 4 against 12 or 13. Maybe go in, kill 2 or 3 buffaloes and return to base. Why not? So 2 less, 1 damage. Okay, 2nd damage. But now the buffaloes are dying. But not always a dive bonus will create the victory. We just saw the buffaloes are diving, but the COs are still coming from behind. Can outmaneuver these buffaloes. And armor protection is nice and good for light machine guns, but if the Zero can hit with a 20mm cannon, then it's also a kill. And armor protection is not more helping. So this 4 zeros did a good job. I think 4 kills, 4 damage with no own losses. Yeah, okay, 1 damage. This last Zero fighter won't really not give up and have 1 more kill maybe. And he even get it. Yeah. But in the end he gets also shut down. So, and maybe this was a good pilot, he maybe make 2 or 3 kills, but then his airplane is getting destroyed by the last buffalo. Sometimes you better simply say it was enough. Okay, but like a true Japanese samurai fighter, he simply fight to the end and he will die, but he takes 2, 3, 4 enemies with him, and then yeah, you can decide if this was now successful or if it would be better to return to base after you get your first kill to play it safe. Now we have Chinese bombardment, so typical attacks is sometimes very nice outcome. And today we also see no British caps more, intercepting my bombing strike here in Kuala Lumpur. Looks all nice. No hit, but this is jungle. I always try really to attack only clear terrain. If there's anything, only if there's no choice, then I would go maybe for rough terrain or jungle or wood. So here's a repair ship, but this is a very small repair ship. And some AMC and small cargo ships. So all again 2, 3 point ships. So maybe the RR is the most value ship here. But they're all slow. They cannot run really. They can never outrun a carrier task force. So long I have fuel. And here are some light cargo ships. 2 of them, also no more. More allied ships sinking. And still at least one Dutch cargo ship is afloat. But looks like that my carriers don't want to attack because there's no fighter wing more left to strike. So this one Dutch or British ship can maybe escape. Again, the American S-boat is here. Luckily only attacked my my patrol ships. I cannot find him. Yeah, but these S-boats, they don't have the range and they also don't have the torpedo capacity. So if they 3, 4 sub-attacks, and then often they normally have to return to base. And then there's a question where to go. Manila is not more really possible for KilRoy, so you have maybe to go much far away, maybe back to Java. So Kagarian, I storm And these American forces cannot hold, or Filipino normally, they're only commanded by American officers. But I think the fighting forces are mostly Filipinos. And they don't have morale. Don't ask me why, because maybe the Americans treat them so badly. I have here some disabled units, but the American Filipino forces are already disengaged, running. 3 are running, 1 is laying down the weapon, so the beginning of the end of the resistance of Mindanao. This is my test bombardment to see how strong is the defense and what units are here in Clarkfield already. And yeah, I have of course far too less attack value in Clarkfield, but this is more like a block force. My main goal is first take first Manila and then Clarkfield. There are the open plains of central China. The Chinese forces are still running. But yeah, the question is how many forces are left to run. Guam, I think battle number 3 or number 4. Again, I destroy the fort. Again, I can disable more forces than I lost myself, but I still cannot take Guam. Very tough. Yeah. This was a very active air battle, fighter war. So, and small support for my carrier division, but no really big navy battle, and no surprise, at least on my side. So we arrived at the 17th December. So far everything looks okay. Intelligence report shows now a kill ratio of 5-1 or 50-10. That is so nice. 21 buffaloes, 13 warhawks, but also 8 zeros and 5 killed air to air. And the rest is a bunch of, you can see here. This is a Dutch buffalo. This is a P-35 I first damaged, then killed him on the ground. And the Key 30 and the torpedo bomber is obsolete on the. So 10 airframes, and out of this 10 airframes I had 5 killed or missing pilots. This is still, I would say, okay. 5 from 10. Ships? No, last turn. So again, I think a lot of small Dutch, British cargo ships, and the only really important ship was this cargo ship with a decent speed and long range. It's the better cargo ship. Nothing big, but better. Yeah, if we talk about this air war and the loss of pilots, then we can check my carrier here. I think here was the most loss. And I had here this air wing lost 2 killed pilot and 1 missing. So these are 3 out of 5 of my pilots I lost today from this air wing. Unluckily, I really cannot check which pilot is now lost. I can only see what is left. And I can see that many of them get experience. And you can see that not everyone was really on 70. So there are still some pilots in this air wing starting with 60 to 65. And this is maybe also what the Americans have. The best, maybe these pilots with this skill level are the best what the Americans have at the start of the war. So if they fight each other, then it's really 1-to-1 ratio. And if I have in this better pilots with 70-75 is of course better and more likely to survive and create a kill. And you can see that some have green, so they also have kills. But some they don't. They're still getting experience even if they don't have a kill. But a kill, I would say, always will boost make it more likely to get experience bonus. Good, and the other air-wing on this carrier lost nothing this turn. But they create these 3 kills. So this air-wing, 0 losses, 3 kills, 1, 2, 3. Good. In China was only really only some cleanup. You can still see it slowly. Still so many Chinese forces everywhere. In KilRoy don't move most of his forces. He don't move. He moves some forces, but not all. You can see that he moved in Canton again, and then this you have this issue that the light industry is working. I think heavy industry also. No, wait. Let's maybe not show here. Maybe you must go to industry. Then you can see here. Because the enemy force is now in Canton City, the manpower and the resources are not under production for 1 turn. Manpower is no issue. Resources are maybe also not so important, but again, I don't know if this is the purpose, but it will. Yeah, it is troublesome, and I cannot move out so long. Always KilRoy move in my base, so I have to get rid of them slowly and steadily. And I have to clean up all the highways, and I have still here no railway link open. Naja, so in China there's still much to do. Burma, nothing. My Thai forces arrive in Victoria Point, so next turn I can maybe kick out these British forces, take Victoria Point, only to secure that not this base forces walk east and cut my Bangkok Singapore railway line. Malaya is, everything is moving. You can see in the north I'm moving on Georgetown, in the center I'm moving on Kuala Lumpur. And in 2-3 turns I maybe can get rid of this pocket and also around Georgetown, and then we have the drive on Johor Bahru before we finally go for Singapore. Here is nothing. My subs are here in position, but I don't pick much up. We had here was my subs are in position, but at least some cargo ships pass by without getting hit, some maybe sunk. And this is the last surviving Dutch task force here, 3 ships. So, but my cruisers, I always try to bring my cruisers in position, but they always fail to make contact. And my destroyers are low on fuel, so I think I give this up and only use my carrier to maybe hunt down this last 1 task force before I go direction Christmas Island and then Osthaven. And here again, picking up with my cruisers all the bases, but there is nothing. I don't know where they are. Rabaul getting more equipment, if it won't open. So there's some cruiser formation, unloading task forces, and more supplies arriving here. I bring in some marine or engineers, construction stuff, base forces. So I try to bring Rabaul as fast as possible online to have here a port of 4, airfield of 8, something like this, so that I have a very strong base very close to Port Moresby. Maybe the air battle here in over Singapore, last time we saw around I think 69 or up to 70 fighters, and out of the 70 fighters, my recon tell me now only 16 left. This is of course not 100% true, cannot be, I don't have so many kills, but the numbers are maybe halved already. And my main wing I used for this operation in this turn, no, not this one, was this one. So I start with, I think, I don't know, 44 maybe. and I lost in total, yeah, 3 airplanes so far. So I had original 45, now here 42 left, and one is ops losses or written off, and 2 air-to-air losses. So here also 2 killed pilot. But with 2 killed pilot, but this is last turn, so in total 3 killed pilot so far, 36 kills. But these are airframe kills, this is not killed pilot. So normally you must compare this number, this is lost airframes, to this number. So means we have here 2, 3, 4 lost airframes, but kill of 36. So 1-9 kill ratio. Goodie. Anything else? Not really, because your KilRoy was not more in position. He left. I only hunt with my submarines a little more east, because maybe KilRoy turn around and try to come again. At least I won't use my submarines, they have the range. But I sent my carriers already on the way back to Truk to rearm, refuel, and then be ready for the next operations. This is first all I can say. Maybe I don't know more. Open. Where is my? Kagi is already back from finished the job in Japan. If you don't have any special house rule, and I would normally, at least in scenario 1, I would say why. I use Akagi because Akagi is the only carrier you can do this with an 81 air capacity. I use it to reform all my Navy air wings, to create bigger air wings, to train more pilots and have more backup air wings. Now at the beginning of the war, it's maybe not so important, but later if you have enough trained pilots, you can use them. So I have here every possible, must be carrier capable air wing. I bring normally Akagi, reform it to 81, and then I put 81 pilots inside, and then I add up 3, 9 or 12 training airplanes, and then I let them train. It have not the maximum. It's not maybe good like if every pilot have an airplane, but at least some or most of the pilots can still get experience or skill points per turn, even if you don't have an airplane for everyone. I know you can also overload the pilots, but first there are not enough pilots for, at least in scenario 1 for the Japanese. If I overload this air wings with pilots, I think then the possibility to get a skill drop, and also I'm running out of pilots much faster. I'm already now, let's say, down to 650 pilots. So, and I have still some some air wings to reform. So I think in end of the year I will have here maybe only 100 pilots left. So I don't even need to overload my air wings with additional pilots. Good. And especially this is, I think, is why this is good for the Japanese is normally you have this carrier trained and capable air wings already at the start of the war. So you don't must really train any air wing. You have enough air wings. You only need to reform them, because it doesn't matter how big is the air wing. This skill is attached to the air wing, and how big the air wing is doesn't matter. And if the unit is independent, and it's get automatically independent if you reform the air size, then they're independent, then they can go everywhere. And of course, you can never really bring you could, but it is complicated to bring a 81 big size air wing to a carrier or some other base. But what is possible is you can always break them in 3 pieces, and then you have this 27. And 27 and 18 is always the number the Japanese carriers are operating. So you have Akagi is working with 3 times 27 is 81. And then you have other fleet carriers like I think the standard Japanese fleet carrier is based on 72. Shukaku here. And then you can see that this is maybe not the best. Yeah, this 72 is based on 27, 27, and 18. Then you have 72. And so if you reform your units all to 81, then you have always 27. And then you can always fill up your carriers maybe more easily and be more flexible. You have enough dive bombers, you have enough fighters and enough torpedo bombers. How you equip your carriers is then of course the choice of the player. You want to have more defense style like the Allies had, much more fighters, or you have it more aggressive like the Japanese, a lot of torpedo bombers. Then you can sink everything, but don't have the midway experience. Good. Thank you all. If you have any questions, let me know. See you. Take care. Bye bye.